FEAR. It either stands for forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. As a targeted individual, sometimes you try version 1 and then come back later for the face everything and rise version of fear. This story is about a TI on the run who realizes that the only way out is through. So stay tuned for this gruesome affair. On the run as a targeted individual, the gang stalkers are everywhere. Finding yourself in the talons of an owl in the shadows of the forest moonlight, it's a gruesome affair. Covert warfare is the name of the game. Actually, it's not a game, it's a war. It's amazing to see the ones who don't see it, the ones who believe the propaganda and comply with every ridiculous instruction from the media. I sometimes think that if the mainstream news told people to hop on one foot and scream something totally humiliating in front of their house, they'd run out and do it. They'd probably promptly post a TikTok with a flag or a color or whatever the latest thing is that the media and subsequently the masses are obsessing over with their fear or virtue signaling this week. As for me, I've been a targeted individual for 11 years, and I know that the only thing I can trust is my own intuition and our creator. I've figured out the rules of the game and how to win. The spiritual war is very real. They don't want you to know that. Once you know you are at war, you might do something your enemy doesn't like. You might resist. And if the masses realized the power they have, the enemy would not stand a chance. It's a spiritual war where the masses are distracted and appeased, while the world around them, their nations, communities, and history are literally dismantled while they are spellbound and likely watching a glass screen in their very comfortable enough space living quarters. You see, not all will walk the wide road of comfort and ignorant self-indulgence. Some will wake up, sober up, turn the distracting entertainment off, and start researching about the world that they live in. These are the ones with a special destiny. Some call them chosen. Some call them crazy. Some say they are conspiracy theorists. But one thing for sure, such people do not parrot the words of the nightly news. They do not aim for people-pleasing, social echo chamber acceptance and enforcing silly rules to enjoy that little bit of power that they get from their masters. Some stop caring what people think. They realize that the majority of people are not thinking at all and are quick to belittle something they don't wish to or care to understand, something they subconsciously want to avoid because it is simply easier that way and they will certainly be with the majority. That is why I'm on the run. I'm writing this right now on my iPhone in a roadside motel somewhere in the massive flatlands of Texas. I am not from Texas. I am from New Hampshire. But this is already too much information. You see, I am a targeted individual and have been systematically gang-stalked for 11 years. Why? Because I spoke the truth. I'd rather live in truth in isolation than work for the devil with the group. I decided long ago that I would rather take the guillotine than work for evil. I'd rather take the guillotine than tell their lies. I'd rather take the guillotine than comply. I'd rather take the guillotine than be complicit in dismantling anything honest, anything pure, and the remaining remnants of health and genuine wholesome spirit that is left of humanity in 2023. When you sign up like this, fighting darkness, you get on their list. You become a threat. Sure, there are lists and databases, electronic weapons, 5G, directed energy weapons, trauma-based mind control, media hypnosis, and MK Ultra for the masses. Despite all the tech, this is still just lower-level weaponry in the ongoing and ramping up spiritual war we are experiencing. At the higher level, the war is spiritual, energetic, and metaphysical. You see, when you are willing to let everything go to do what is right, you become righteous. When you cannot be controlled with materialism, money, flesh, or fame, you become uncontrollable and ungovernable. When they can't control you through the control systems of Earth Realm, they will file a lawsuit against you in the heavenly courts. Satan will mark you as a targeted individual in the heavenly courts. This is how the synchronicities and gang stalking transcend making sense in the material sense. If you've been targeted, no matter how isolated you feel, it is because they fear you, and they should. They fear you because you are dangerous to Satan's agenda. When you get to that point of confidence and are fearless, you have become a judging angel and represent a systematic threat to the evil that has a stronghold on humanity. Their power structure has identified you as an adversary, and you become a targeted individual and will experience organized harassment described as gang stalking. I was targeted when I spoke out. I studied engineering at one of America's top schools. I started out studying computers and physics. I wanted to stay away from business management and lawyer work. I thought physics would be a pure science. I saw it as studying the fabric of reality for the sake of knowledge, science, and understanding for mankind. I loved it. But I quickly figured out that living in America is expensive. An idealist is not going to last long in this America. When I graduated, I got a very good paying job. Thing is, it was in a defense company. And my idealism and science would be applied to intelligence gathering and systems of control and destruction. This is not what I wanted to do with my life. But there were bills to pay, and truth be told, when you work for the dark side, you get paid very well. Business was good. I moved up and was working in a quasi-government tech company that built specialized hardware. It was cutting edge. Most people have no idea what modern warfare is. It's invisible, silent, and covert. The news shows tanks and missiles. This is a joke, like those weather balloons and UFOs on the news. Do you think the military tells the masses what really happens on the nightly news? Of course not. They are just managing mass perceptions, manufacturing consent, and setting up elaborate schemes for mostly unchallenged compliance from the bewildered, distracted, and mind-fogged masses. At any time, anyone can sign out of this, but it's amazing that they just keep on keeping on. I don't even have to list some of the crazy conspiracy blogs or websites. If you want to know the state of modern warfare, I suggest you Google which companies are the most major defense contractors for the U.S. military, and then go to those very manufacturers' websites and read about what their latest weapons systems are capable of. Yeah, it won't make you popular to bear the news to most friends and family. Stick to talking about the Super Bowl for that, and not the halftime show. So probably best to keep quiet about it all, with the except of those with the spiritual strength to face the reality of the actual predicament we are in. The irony is the predicament is easy to escape with enough will. Back to my story. I spoke out and resigned. I tried to get my story out. It's amazing how relevant information is literally just silenced on the news, while they just pump propaganda for the agenda. Once you understand the agenda and the methods of propaganda, the whole thing just becomes like a cheap horror movie. And the most shocking thing is that people, including a prior version of myself believe this cheap, quiche, and predictable theater. Things started happening. My house was invaded several times and accessed somehow with a key. Things went missing. I don't understand why, but I know now that for witchcraft it often helps to have a material possession from the target. My car was vandalized. Windows were cracked. A screw was bolted into my front right tire. I made a report to the local police. They mocked me. They told me it was probably a disgruntled ex-lover. I think that report just gave them more information about me and started a bizarre sequence of coincidences. Every time I drove my car, I was followed or ran into police cars from the local police. They didn't stop me, but just seemed to be in a non-direct way letting me know that I am being watched. I thought it was strange. I tried leaving my cell phone at home and went out. It still happened. I know this seems crazy, but I ordered a GPS jammer online and tested it out in my car. I went out with the GPS jammer on and no cell phone on my person, and it was clear as day. I did not see a single police officer. I was not being tracked. Next time with my cell phone, I was followed again. Cell phone on my person, and it was clear as day. I did not see a single police officer. I was not being tracked. Next time with my cell phone, I was followed again. I figured it out. They are not following me. You see, as someone that has had training in intelligence and gathering and information systems, I know too well that when one is information gathering, the goal is to remain undetected. The gang stalking is the opposite. They want to be detected. This is the goal. This is not intelligence gathering so much. This is organized harassment, and the objective is the psychological effect. The next level goal is to make the target isolated, broke, and unemployed. They use smear campaigns to discredit the target. The irony is the target is the only one telling the truth. I was at the food co-op and a young woman walked up to me and just said, "They are saying a lot of shit about you." Then she just went on and would not say anything more. Sometimes it's a direct statement. Sometimes it's more like street theater. The intention of this is from the evil hive mind, and it is emotional manipulation. They do use tech, voice to skull, microwave, and energy weapons. But this is subsequent to the spiritual aspect of it. The victims of the operation go beyond the targets. Even the gang stalkers themselves, some spiritually provoked, others blatantly on payroll, are broken down too. To say it clearly, the gang stalkers themselves are victims of the operation. They must have their human emotions deconstructed, just as a soldier is programmed to not have the mercy and guilt. The gang stalkers are programmed to not have a conscience or empathy or sympathy. They feel they are the lucky ones, not because of the material gain, but because they are part of the group and not isolated like the targets. I fled my house last year because it seemed to be under attack by energy weapons at night. They wanted to create sleep deprivation. The weaponry made it difficult to sleep and a couple times gave me sunburn. Can you imagine getting sunburned while trying to sleep in the darkness of your own bedroom? I would walk outside my house and find that a van would drive off. I fled my home and first went to a hotel in New York State. I felt some heat there, so have driven further south to Texas now. It's warmer here for February 2023. It seems they are here too. I couldn't sleep and heard the ringing and felt the burn. I went down and asked the motel manager if I can change rooms. He said that there are no other free rooms in the motel. I walked out into the parking lot and there is a late model van with tinted windows, so I cannot look inside. The plates are out of state, and there are several stickers that reference the police. There are not many cars in the parking lot. Strange that a motel that is fully booked has so few cars in the parking lot. The only car with dark tinted windows is that van. I will not break any laws, so I will not touch that car. I came back in, and in the lobby noticed that there is a uniformed sergeant sitting on a couch and watching television, very relaxed. I went and sat on a chair and tried to start a conversation with him. I said to him, "Do you know that there exists directed energy weapons?" He smirked and said, "Yep, and we use them." Then he got real cold and stared at the television. The news was on. I cannot stand that propaganda, so I just left and am now back in my motel room writing this. I know a few rules of this war. It's a spiritual war. The evil is organized, not just with tech and communication systems, but spiritually in a way that does not make sense in the 3D physical science terms. The good side is organized too. Truth and spoiler to be spoke, the good side wins. The evil knows this, and this is why they are always working and planning. They are desperate. Free will cannot be compromised. This is why they won't just shoot the targets, even though that seems like it would just be easier. Sins committed by humans encourage and justify the evil attacks. And further, they want you to fight their fire with fire. They want you to use their own methods of hate, sabotage, deception, and magic. Because as soon as you use that against them, they got you. You become just like them because your methods are now evil. You're unknowingly joining the evil team. Don't use their tactics unwittingly. Don't fight them by literally joining them. It's energetic. Haters hate. Once you hate a hater, you're one too, and they will not give you any reward, just the smirk, which is a subtle clue that they got you. I took a little nap and had a dream. In the last paragraph, I said that the good side is organized too. You see, just like the opposition, they cannot reveal themselves objectively. You must trust that they are there, because they are. There are spirits in the other realm sending messages, usually nonverbal, helping the chosen ones. I made a decision. Tomorrow, I am heading back to New Hampshire. I am heading home and ready to be strong and face those sloppy creeps and just be awesome. Spring is coming soon. The days are getting longer. I know that if you put up one of those shiny survival blankets, it can block the EMF. The gang stalkers have never touched me. They just lurk. So a message to all the gang stalkers out there: put on your best lurking face. I'll see you on the sidewalk, in the cars, at the mall, at the library, at the gas station. The war is not won by fighting. It is won by not complying and being what you want the world to be. Each day is a battle, but we didn't incarnate in Earth Realm just to sit around offended or in fear or entertained. We came here to manifest the human spirit, and the opposition does not want that. Things get weirder and weirder. Have you noticed that? Well, to all those who sold their soul for material gain, you already know how this is going to end. You already know how this is going to end. You already know how this is going to end.